Hello student, today we are going to study NCERT class 10th History Chapter 1 The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. This is the fifth segment of this video, and in the previous four segment of the video what we have learned so far that how the nationalism has started had started in the Europe, and how the different countries earlier they were in the divided the different kingdoms, and after they become the united. It starts with the French because the number of the people of the different parts of the Europe, they are more fascinated with the idea of the liberalism, nationalism, and the republic or the democratic country in that time. So starts from the 1815 to 1848, the number of the country took place and they become the united. If we talk about the France first country, then we talk about the Germany and the Italy. So far in this first segment we have learned about this, how the France do so much of the struggle, and after that it become the republic. Then we talk about the Germany, how it used to do the number of the revolution reforms, and how the young people used to come over there. They used to come united together. Then they revolted. Then who become the emperor? The Persian people who become the emperor of the Germany. That is the William I. Then we later on talk about the Italy, where the number of the revolutionaries and reforms were had. Then the one chief minister is over there who is not a revolutionary and who is not you can say the democratic ideas. He is the educated person. He is the wealthiest person. So far, what I could kind of the changes it took place. Then after, starts from 1858 to till 70s, how the Italy become the United Nation in the unification, not a United Nation, in the unification, because earlier these countries are divided into different kingdoms, or you can say the different towns where it is ruled by their own king. They don't want the unification. But later on, when the rise of nationalism, liberalism has started, so people like come, when the people used to come together. Yes, we want our united nation, and for which they want their own elected representative. They will need their own constitution. They don't want the equality. They want the respect. So these are the things they want there for all the countries. So it started over a period. It started with the France. Then later on, side by side, you can see the later on starts from the, you can see the Germany, in the Italy, and the other parts of the Europe. So these are the things we say. Now the strange thing we are going to come like about what happened in the Britain, the strange case of the Britain, then the visualizing of the nation, and the nationalism and the imperialism. So this is the three points which we're going to discuss in this segment, that how the strange case of Britain, the Great Britain and the Britain, what are the countries going over there, what are the cases going over there. So this, all the things we're going to learn from this. The visualizing the nation, now you can visualize what kind of nation now you are seeing over there. Then the nationalism and the imperialism, how the nationalism has started and how there is the imperialism. So it starts from the page number 821, the strange case of Britain, the model of the nation state. Some scholars have argued in the Great Britain, the formation of nation state. Now it's become the formation of nation state was not the result of a sudden upheaval or the revolution. Means this was the result of long drawn out the process. There was no British nation prior to the 18th century. Yes, there was not a British nation prior to the 18th century, but later on there were the primary identities of the people who inhabited the British Isles were ethnic ones, that is such as the English, Welsh, Scot, or the Irish, or you can say the Irish. All of these ethnic groups had their own culture and the political religion. They have their own beliefs in the culture and the political tradition. But as the English nation steadily grew in the wealth, yes, it is steadily grew in the wealth. That's why we can see the Britain in our India that used to rule over more than 200 years. Importance of the power. This was then able to extend its influence over the other nation of the islands. The English Parliament, which has seized the power from the monarchy in 1688 at the end of the protracted conflict, was the instrument through which in a nation state, like till the English Parliament, that is in the Britain, or you can say in the England, which had seized the power from the monarchy in 1688, like all the powers up to the, you can say the monarchy only, and of the protected conflict, was the instrument through which the nation state with England as a center came to be forged. The Act of Union 707 between the England and the Scotland, the result in the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. The unification of the Scotland and the England mean the fact that the England was able to impose the influence on the Scotland. The British Parliament was henceforth dominated by the England members or the English members. The group of the British identity meant that the Scotland dissenting culture and the political institutions were systematically suppressed by the England people. So whatever the things going on in the Scotland, so they used to be use you can say the intelligently trick or you can say the very smartly trick they used over there, and they used to suppress the power of the Scotland. So English was able to influence this influence of the Scotland. The British Parliament was henceforth dominated by the English member. The growth of British identity meant to Scotland distinctive culture and the political institution were the systematically suppressed. The Catholic claims and the inhabited the Scottish Highlands suffered the terrible repression wherever they attempt to assert their independence. The Scottish Highlands were forbidden to speak the Gaelic language. Now, the Scottish people who used to speak the Gaelic language or the wear the national dress or the large number were forcibly driven out of their homeland. Now, they use their traditional language or the traditional there. Now, they forcibly tell the people you have to leave this place or the homeland. Ireland suffered a similar fate. It was the country deeply divided into the Catholic and the Protestant. Whether this is the two, you can say, just like in Hindu, there are the upper caste, the lower caste. If we talk about the Muslim, there is the Shia Sunni. So in these Christianity, they have the Catholics and Protestant. The English helped the Protestant to the island to establish the dominance over the large Catholic country. Catholic revolt against the British dominance were suppressed. Now it was suppressed after the failed revolt led by Wolf and the United Irishman. That is in 1798. Ireland was forcibly incorporated into the United Kingdom in 1801. Irish used to come forcibly incorporated with the United Kingdom. In the new British nation was forged through the propagation of dominant English culture. The symbol of the new Britain, the British flag, Union Jack, the national anthem, God Save Our Noble King, and the English language were actively promoted, and the older nations survived only a subordinated partner in the Union. So you can so far you come to know that how the great become the united by the unification of the Scotland and the England, and how the English people used to suppress the Scottish people or the Irish people, that now you have to follow all the rules and regulation of the English people, the language, the dressing sense, the way of living, all the things they have to do in their own way. Now we come to the next one, the visualizing the nation. While it is easy enough to represent the ruler through a portrait or a statue, yes, it is very easy if you want to visualize any of the ruler by seeing his picture or the painting, or you can say the sculpture or the statue. So, how does one go about giving a face of a nation? Yes, that is also true. If we used to give a face to the nation, how it used to go? Artists in the 18th and 19th century found a way out of the personifying a nation. In the other words, they represented a country as it were a person. Now they represent the country as it was a person. So nation was then portrayed a female figure. Now they used to portray the nation as a female figure. The female form that was chosen to be personified, the nation did not stand for any particular woman in real life. Rather, it sought to give an abstract idea, or you can say the different idea that the nation concentric form, that is, the female figure become a allegory of the nation. Now, thinking what the allegory is, when an abstract idea, for instance, greed, envy, freedom, liberty, is expected through a person or a thing, an allergic story has the two meaning, one literal and one symbolic. If we used to give a particular person have If you used to give a face to a particular nation, so have the one symbol, or you can say the one literal meaning, which you give you the instance, the greedy, the enemy, enemy, not enemy, the enemy, the freedom and the liberty to portray the ideas such as the liberty, justice, and the republic. These ideas were represented through the specific object or the symbol. As you would remember, the attributes of the liberty are red cap. If you remember, if you read in the class 9, its first chapter, the French Revolution, where the people who when they left their slavery, so they have to wear the red cap. So that means they are free from the slavery. So or the broken chain where they do not have to the handcuffs. Like the slave are not under their masters. Justice is generally blindfold. Yes, justice is bind. The woman carrying a pair of bear scale. If you remember the symbol we have discussed in the previous class, in class 9 in the French Revolution chapter, where they show the different symbols or what their meanings. So they discuss over there. Now you can see the figure 16. This is the postage stamp of 1850 with the figure of Marin represent the Republic of France. Now she given the face that she is showing the Marie representing the Republic of France. She is the face of the United France. Similarly, the female allegories were invented by the artists in the 19th century to represent the nation. In the France, she was Christianized Marian, a popular Christian name which underlined the idea of the people's nation. Her characters were drawn from those of liberty and the republic. The red cap, the tricolor, they have the three colors that is blue, white, and red. Then the cocket, their national, you can say the bird, and the status of the marine were attracted the public square to remind the public of the national symbol of the unity and to pursue down the identity with it. Marine the image were marked on the coins and the stamps. So this was which we have already discussed this picture that she used to give the face of the Republic of the France. Then similarly, Germany became the allergy of the German nation. In visual representation, Germany wears a crown of oak leaf. You can see she used to wear the crown of oak leaf, and as the German oak strength of the heroism with the oak, you can say the oak leaves they used to stand for the heroism. So Germany of Philip Well, 1848. This artist prepared the painting for the Germany on the cotton banner as it went meant to the hang from the ceiling of the church of the St. Paul, where the Frankfurt Parliament was convinced in March 1848. Now you can see the meaning of the symbols. This is over here. Attribute and significance. Broken chain means being freed. Um, Breastplate with the eagle, that is the symbol of German Empire strength. Crown of oak leaf means heroism. Sword means the readiness to fight. Olive branch around the world, that means the willingness to make peace. You have to keep this in all the points because they used to ask you in your MCQ question, maybe then 1 mark question, and maybe they used to ask you in the defined form. Black, red, and the gold tricolor, that is the flag of the liberal nationalists, 1848, banned by the dukes of the German state, and the rays of rising sun, and in the beginning of the new era. Now the fall on Germany, Julius Huber, 1850, you can see this figure, how she is laying down over the side, and you can see the German guarding the Rehane. Now she is the warrior, they represented as a lady. 86, the artist Lauren Clash was commissioned to paint the image. The inscription on the German sword reads, the German sword protect the German Rayan. So how she is protecting the Rayan? So she is show as the warrior with the sword in his hand. Now come towards the last topic of this chapter, that is the nationalism and the imperialism. So how we find the nationalism and imperialism in the different parts of the Europe. First we talk about the France, then we talk about the Germany, then we talk about the Italy and the Britain. So in the last quarter of the 19th century, nationalism no longer retained its idealistic, liberal, democratic sentiment of the first half of the century. So they had the different liberal, democratic, and the sentiments in the first half of the 19th century, but become a narrow creed with a limited ends. Now they become the narrow creed with a limited ends during the period of nationalism group because increasing intolerant for each other and ever ready to go for the war. Now they have the different ideas of the how to fight the war or how to fight the war. So every day they are ready to go for the war. So like during the period nationalist group become increasing intolerant means for each other they want to ready where they want to go for the war anytime. If they want to say they want to go for the war right now, so they are ready because they want to fight the war, they want to fight the war. The major European powers in that turn manipulated the nationalist aspiration of the subject peoples in the Europe to further their own imperialist aims. The most serious sources of the nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the area called the Balkans. The Balkan was the region of geographical and ethnic variation comprising the modern-day Romanian, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Solvia, Serbia, Montenegro, whose inhabitants were broadly known as the slaves. So these are the places where the slave used to come from. You heard about the Romania, you know that today also there is the Romania, the Bulgaria, the Croatia, the Greece, the Albania, the Bosnia and the Solvia and the Serbia. A large part of the Balkans was under the control of the Ottoman, with the Irish and the Poland. They spread the idea of the romantic nationalism in the Balkans together with the disintegration of the Ottoman Empire made this region very explosive. Although the 19th century, the Empire had sought to strengthen itself through the modernization and the internal reforms, but they are very little successful. Now, although the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire had sought to strengthen itself through the modernization. You can say they're using the modern weapons and the internal reforms. The internal reforms, like they are fighting with their own society, their own community, but with a very little success. Now they're not. Some of the people used to win over there, and some of the people used to not. They defeated over there. So like few people are won over there. One by one, in the European subject nationally broke away from its control and declared the independence. Now subject of nationality broke. Now they got the third that we are the independent country. The Balkan people based their claims for the independence for the political rights on the nationality and used the history to prove that they had once been independent but had subsequently been subjugated by the foreign powers. That is true. The what the Balkan tried to say that earlier they were independent, none of the rulers will come over here and they used to suppress them. They were the independent, they were not the slaves. Whosoever the foreign country used to come over there, they used to suppress them, and they made them the slaves. That's why they become, you can say, the dependent rather than the independent. So they fought the war for their independent nation and free from the slavery. Hence, the rebellion nationalists in the Balkans thought of the struggle as the attempt to win back their long lost independence. Now they want the independence from these people. Why? Because they lost their independence before way back. You can say long year ago. Now they want their independence back as the like other countries who is fighting who is fought the war for the independence with the Britain or you can say with the English people. As the different Slavic nationalists struggle to define the identify and independence, the Balkan have become an area of interest conflict. The Balkan state were fiercely jealous of each other and each hoped to forgain. Now they are jealous of each other and they hope for gain more territory at the expense of the other. They want the more territory at the expense of other. Matters were the further complicated because the Balkans have become the scene of big power library. Now they become the big power library. During this period, there was intense rivalry among the European powers over the trade and the colonies as well as the naval and the military might. During this period, there was intense rivalry among the European powers over the trade and the colonies, as well as the naval and the military might. The libraries were very evident in the way the Balkan. Then the problem unfold. Each power, that the Russia, Germany, England, Austro-Hungary, were keen on countering the whole of the other powers over the Balkans. Now, these are the powers, they want to hold the power over the Balkans because now the Balkans have, now they want the independence from these countries. and extend its own control over the area. So this led to a serious war region, the finally to the First World War. So you can see a map celebrating the British Empire, which I told you in the many of the lectures. The British people are very much successful, and they conquer the most of the part of the world, or you get the number of the countries, because they have what they have the motto that they want to conquer all over the world. They want to become the supreme power in the all over the world. So this is the map where they can enjoy that they where they have conquer that particular territory and they used to rule over there. So this was a map celebrating the British Empire. At the top, the angel are shown carrying the banner of the freedom. Then in the foreground, the Britannia, the symbol of the British nation, is triumphantly sitting over the globe. The colonies are represented through the image of tiger, forest, and the primitive people. The domination of the world is shown on the basis of Britain national pride. Nationalism aligned it with the imperialism. This one that led to the Europe to the disaster in 1914. But the meanwhile, many countries in the world which had been colonized by the European powers in the 19th century, because the Britain had captured the number of the territories or the number of the countries which used to say, we can say in the other word, in the colonial rule or by the English rule, because they want to conquer most of the part of the world, because they want to what they want is the supreme control, or you can say the supreme power in all over the globe. So the European power in the 19th century began to oppose the imperial domination. The anti-imperial movement developed everywhere where the nationalists, in the sense that they all struggle to form the independent nation state. Now because they want the independence, so all the people have started the nationalism. Yes, we want the freedom, we want the independence from this English people, and were inspired by the sense of collective national unity forged in the confrontation with the imperialism. European ideas of the nationalism were nowhere replicated. Here, where the imperialism we can't find in the Europe. For the people ever to develop their own specific variety of national, because when they did the number of the reforms and the revolution for the nationalism they already have, and when the Britain has captured all other parts of the country, so that the nationalism has started and the imperialism also started, but we can't find in the Europe. But the idea of the society should be organized into the nation state came to be accepted by the natural and the universal law. So far, what we have discussed in this chapter, how the nationalism started in the Europe, how the people over a period of time by suppressing by or exploited by the royal people or because of the monarchical government, so they want the nationalism in their country by following the natural laws, just like the equality for everybody, to give the respect to everybody. If we talk about it in terms of the status or the gender, whether a person is rich or poor, whether the person is you can say male or female, each and everybody should get the equal chance. They should get the freedom of speech and the address where they want to go. They can say what they want to that what they want to express, their ideas, their desire. So all such things which are the natural, which is given by the nature, so all such things has to be mentioned in the constitution. So in this case, if we talk about the people, the European people, those who are the educated and most of the values, so these are the people who become the revolutionaries. So they want the changes, that they want the nationalists, the liberal country, they want their constitution, they want their elected representative, by which all the people should get the chance, the equal chance in the jobs, in the equal chance in the different sector of the society. That doesn't mean you give the most of the satisfaction and most of the respect to the these people, those who are the rich, rather than you are exploiting or suppressing the peasant, the farmer, the people who are not able to buy the food and they are not able to afford the number of such things. So you're levied more and more tax to them, rather than giving the you can say the food, rather than giving them the money for the survival of the life. Like because so far we have also discussed that because of some you can say the famine, because of the shortages of the food, because of the scarcity of the food, and the price of the particular price is high at a stagflation means at a very higher price, the people are not able to buy the particular product and they have to die because of the starvation. So for this, the widespread, you can say, the revolution has started. If we talk about the France, where the Louis Perret had to flee, and after that, then the peasant declared themselves they declare themselves as, or you can say that declare France as the republic country, where the person who is above the age of 21, they can give the vote, and the those who are the man, they can give the equal work opportunity, not the women's. The later we talk about the woman as well. They can did the number of the reforms to get the equal rights in the political. But if we recall the one image where we can see, they allowed the woman, you can come over the upstairs, you can sit over there and see as the visitors that what the things are going in the parliament. So this is not going to be acceptable, because over the period of time, like the number of the women have came, they did the number of the revolution for the political rights, for the vote, that we should get the equal chance to give the vote. Then they also used to come up with the idea that we should get the equal wages. Still now, the number of the reforms, revolutions uh, is done by the number of the women, but still the number of fighting for their rights. We want the dignity. First one is the dignity, then the recognition. You can say the political rights in the different parts of the country, and you can say in the different countries, and they want the equal wages, and they want the equal opportunity in the employment sector. So these are the things that which is done by you can say suffered by the women till now they are fighting. In the few countries they get the chance like equal wages, but in the few countries they can't get it. Then we talk about the Germany, like how they have fought, how the William I become the emperor of the Germany. That is that this belongs from the Persia. Then we talk about the Italy. It starts from 1858 to till 1870. How the unification of Italy. Then we talk about the Great Britain. How it become the Scotland and the England. They used to become the Great Britain. That the English people or the England people, they used to suppress the Scottish people, that you do not have to follow your language, their dressing sense, your tradition, and they used to take away these people to their homeland, and they used to say that you have to follow each and everything what is done by the English people. Then later on we come to know about in this the visualization of the nation. So each and every nation have their own the nationalistic feeling, and they used to give the face of a lady. If we talk about the France, so he used to, if you have remember that I just used to explain about the class 9, where the particular two pages they show the different symbols, the handkerchief, the red cap, the triangle with the in the center that is the eye. Then uh, there is one snake who is used to eat his tail. So these are all the things which we are dealing. A particular symbol has such a significance. If we talk about the red cap, where the person who, the peasant, the farmer, or you can say slave, the laborer, who are free from the slavery, so they used to wear the cap that we are no more the slave, we are doing the normal work like you. So they used to wear the, you can say the red cap, and there are the three colors that symbolize the flag of the France, which is the blue, white, and red. And the crocodile, that is the national bird of the France, which is look like a hen. So this kind of all the things they used to provide a particular face to the particular nation. We talk about the France, they have a particular face. If we talk about the Germany, they have the particular face. Like she used to wear the oak crown, where they show the heroism. Then they want to save the Renaissance. That particular lady used to take the shot to save the country. Then we later on come to know about this, the nationalism and the imperialism in some of the nation, because the British used to conquer utmost of the territory or utmost of the country. They show that we want to become the supreme power in the on the globe. So in that the all the country have started by fascinating from the Europe. They started the idea of, you can say, the nationalism in their own country. What they thought that we want the freedom from the British, from the English people, or you can say the colonial people. So they started the nationalism movement in their own country, by which we can say that the number of the angels which they come up with the idea with the you can say the freedom. So in this case we can say that in the Europe we find the nationalism, but we can't find the imperialism. But in the rest of the, you can say, the country, just like the India, if we talk about the Africa or any other country, we find the nationalism as well as the imperialism in that country. So all this thing which we so far discussed, it starts from the how the nationalism started in the Europe, or the chapter name suggests the rise of nationalism in Europe, and later on it starts from the France till we have ended with the Britain, like how the changes have take place. First it starts from the France, then the you can take the different countries just like the German, then the Italy, then the Persia, then the Poland, then the Russia, then the Ireland, the Netherlands, the England, then the Scotland, the Ireland, all this country we have so far discussed what kind of nationalism has started, what kind of revolution they did, and what the problem they have faced, who are the people used to come and they become the united. So far we have discussed all these things that how they got their democratic country, their nationalism, their constitution, their elected representative, and they have the feeling of their nationalism. There's earlier they were divided, now they are in the united, or you can say the unification. Earlier they were divided into the different regions, which is headed by, or which is ruled by the different king. Now they are the united. So far we discussed all the things. I hope you like this video. Thank you.